When are we gonna cut my hair?
Well, let's talk about that for a second. I typically am not one to tell you, like I will still tell you because you're my son.
Yeah.
But my hair gets a little out of control sometimes too. See, I know your hair. My hair out of control is nothing like your hair out of control. I feel like there's definitely a difference. There's a big difference there, and you are probably due to get something trimmed up, just around and clean it up a little bit and
up the sides or
see what that looks like. But I feel like that's definitely something that should happen. And once in a while you look over at that, and typically in a podcast they would have like these really good ones that do video podcasts. They have like a camera here zooming this way,
and the camera there.
The camera there is zooming, and then they'll have one straight on.
That's a lot of cameras.
So and then maybe one from this side. So then they have different footage.
Okay.
To show different angles, but this one I'm not that worried about it.
Yeah.
You like that floor stand?
I do like this floor stand.
Yeah, it can adjust. Now the only challenge with that is it doesn't once it's set, it sets. You've got to you can move around it, but this one I can move. Move.
You don't have I just realized you don't have a floor stand.
No, mine's attached to the table, but I have another stand just like this for that one, if you wanted to. I'm just trying out the floor stand. I do like. Yeah, the floor.
I feel like the floor stand, that could fall over really easily. Probably this, I don't think will fall over that.
No, this won't fall over. But I'm looking. So if you look at how it presents itself, I literally have the camera mostly on you, but I also just wanted to show the dry erase board, so we'll have to figure out the best angle to get that set up.
Maybe if you zoom in and bring it back a little higher so it doesn't get this, but it's.
I don't know if it's a zoomable camera, so that's research you're gonna have to do.
Okay.
Because as of right now, I don't think it is. And I was talking to Jared today, because there are, as you know, you in your young athletic career have been exposed to a lot of different coaches, right?
Yeah.
And there are way different quality coaches. And each parent is going to judge a coach and the program a little differently, right?
Right.
Whether you like it or not, as a coach myself, whether I like it or not, I'm always going to be judged. And so the expectation, right? So you want to find out what the expectation is.
Yeah. And
always deliver on what you promise. But for some of these club sports, these coaches, I feel like don't necessarily invest enough back into the players as far as helping them get to that next level. Right, because a lot of them, if you're playing club sports and as you age, the goal is to get to the next level. Yeah, it isn't just to learn how to play, and then I know they make you pay a lot extra for. Well, you need to work on this dash. So guess what? We happen to have this clinic coming up where you can work on this, right?
Time. Yeah.
So they keep. It's like, well, why am I paying this money? I want this in my program. I expect this in my program. How do you implement this in the program so that we can all develop these skill sets instead of paying for extra training on the outside? Because that's backwards from a true long-term athlete development model. So in true long-term athlete development, you are working on the skill sets and worrying less about competition. Okay, there's a certain age for that, and you're getting close to that age now where competition becomes, you're gonna have the adversity and all those different things, but you need to have that skill set, build up those physical literacies, where some programs aren't set up that way. Well, you're paying for these tournaments, you're paying for these competitions. What about the skill set? Well, you're going to learn some systems. Well, what about the skill set? What about the skill set? Well, we have private lessons. I'll do you now, right? Do you?
Yeah.
Because are you really developing these kids? Are you just getting the best developed kids on those teams?
Most of the time, they're not really developing anyone.
They're not, right? So yeah. I'm an athlete development coach. That's what I do from a team perspective, individual perspective, leadership. All those things, character building, culture, teamwork, that's what I do, right? And so I'm going to judge an organization based on what they're delivering around that structure, okay, around all of those parameters. And then as they get older, are those coaches and is that organization invested in helping the athletes, the boys, the girls, whoever's there, right? Helping them navigate that next step of going to college. And it could be, if that's not their wheelhouse, then what are they doing? Are they helping them, putting them in touch with the right person that can help them with that? Or are they not?
Yeah.
Something I recently came across with your sister, right?
Right.
You know, a coach that she recently had has been amazing, right? And it's not even club. Has been like, hey, here's the avenues that you can take. Here's what I would do. Here is some video software. Here's how you tap into recruiting. Here's how you do this. No, thanks. We spent $20,000 on clubs in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't do any of that. And they weren't even great at developing.
No, they weren't. I think she developed way better in this year than any other years.
But you can't. I'm not going to discount the fact of what she did in a similar sport, the variation of that. There was some development there.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a lot you can get better at. A lot of that, which transferred to where she is right now. But I'm just saying, from a coaching perspective of looking at it, even from a business or just a long-term athlete development, the clubs that are having success and winning things aren't necessarily the ones that are developing the players. Across the board, there are some programs, some teams within that, yes. But I think the more that an organization can focus, a club team can focus, or a club organization can focus on truly developing these players without having to, that should be expected for what you're paying. It should be included. All right, and I get it. The pressure from the parents, like, well, we're going to these tournaments and we're not winning, we're not doing this. Okay, but are the players developing and getting better? And if the parents are still mad about that, about not winning some tournaments, all right. Well, first of all, why? Why are they not winning? Is it because the kids aren't developing, or are they developing? Right.
Right.
Is the focus on winning? If it's focused on winning all the time, then there needs to be a different set of messaging as far as expectations go for the people that are paying for their kids to be there. Like, look, we focus on development. Yes, we're going to win. We're going to win some. And the goal is to always win all of them, right?
Right.
We don't like losing. We're here to win everything. We're creating the habits, the infrastructure, everything to do that right. But that's messaging to the parents. And I know you are always like, oh, this teammate, he's mad about this or mad about that. And it's like, hey, you got to understand your expectations. If your expectations are this, all right, let's say your expectations are out here, and the organization delivers this. You can't even see my hand, but the organization delivers this. Then are you ever going to be happy? They're not even near each other, right? They're going this way in different directions. But if, like, hey, this is my expectation, and it's like right here is what it's delivering, it's like, oh, it's on its way. It's on its way. And maybe you as an athlete are the one that's supposed to bridge that gap. Because they're training you and developing you, but maybe it's like your nutrition habits suck. Your sleep habits suck. You're not getting up and being consistent. You're not doing extra work like you need to. You're supposed to do extra stuff, extra skill work at home, and you're not doing it. So you've also got to do your work, right?
Yeah. Right.
But the whole point of this was just the variation in coaching, what you get from the club programs, and the ones that can truly have an impact are the ones that fully invest, have a clear expectation, a clear culture, and then their interest, and they're fully interested in developing the athletes. Fully interested, right? Comprehensive development. What's that look like? And that's the product. That's the best product, I think, that anyone can get. Would you agree?
I agree.
Yeah, of course you can. I'm your dad. You're supposed to agree.
Yeah.
And that's what I do. It's my area of expertise. Right?
Right.
All right, cool, man. Well, it was great to have you listening to me for the last 5 minutes. It was fun talking to you for the last 5 minutes. Let's see how this voice turns out.
All right.
Thanks, Dash.
Thank you.
That was a little more serious.
Yeah.
Huh?